second wave will be the electromagnetic weapon. And that is what we are facing now. And that's why this document is so important. Because if we're going to survive this, we need to take measures to protect our health, to avoid being targets, and especially to build up our own immune system and our own bodily strength. And they offer information on how you can do that. And I'd like to end by saying that I am extremely worried about the children. And that's why today I wanted to do a live stream, because during the lockdown, as we've seen again from this document, it was actually this is a global agenda. And because I'm international, I see how this agenda is playing out across the world, because I see the repetition. I see the identical repetition in each country. And so I see that measures have been put in place for children to be removed from their homes. And we know that the lockdown measures included the speeded up installation of 5G. And we know, and you can see here in Vienna, I've been shocked to see how many enormous antennas have been installed immediately outside schools, nurseries, kindergartens. It's horrifying. And I'm also told that WiGig has been widely installed in British schools. So I have to warn parents, do not send your children to school, because the second wave is going to be the electromagnetic radiation. And the intention is to declare that the children have been affected by the alleged COVID, and they're quarantining the school, and parents may never see their children again.
I know men who don't know anything in the world except who plays third base for the Mets. And they think that's a great accomplishment. And they meet and pat each other on the back and bond and go have cocktails and talk about what this guy that plays third base for the Mets did in last night's game. It's sad. It's really sad. When 150 of the most powerful men and women in the world can meet in secret in Baden-Baden, Germany, and plot the fate of billions, and nobody even cares about it. But 6 football players go to lunch together, and it's in the headlines across the country. You have a reflection of the society in which that exists. And it is a sick, sick society that is doomed to self-destruction. A nation of people who are willing to send their sons and daughters that they profess that they love to a foreign country to die. And they use the excuse to themselves that they're sending them off to defend our country, and they know damn well that's a lie, are doomed.
This is nuclear physicist Dr. John Mullen. He discovered how to generate clean and free energy as opposed to oil. Days after this discovery, he died of arsenic poisoning. Dr. Don Wiley. He found the cure for HIV/AIDS. He mysteriously disappeared and later was found deceased. Dr. Mark A. Smith. He found a treatment for Alzheimer's. He passed away in a freak accident. This is Frank Suarez. He apparently found the cure for cancer. He mysteriously took his own life a couple of days later. I don't know, folks. This is suspicious, blowing my mind when I found out about it.
Once people feel empowered and protected legally, you are going to have schools, universities, and colleges are going to say, you want to come to this college, buddy? You're going to get vaccinated. Lady, you're going to get vaccinated. Yeah. Big corporations like Amazon and Facebook and all of those others are going to say, you want to work for us, you get vaccinated. And it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, They lose their ideological bullshit and they get vaccinated.
That's exactly what you meant when you said making it hard for people to live without getting a vaccination. You affected people's ability to work, travel, be educated, to actually flourish in American society, to self-determine, as we're all given God-given rights. Shame on you. You inspired and created fear through mass mandates, school closures, vaccine mandates that have destroyed the American people's trust in our public health institution.
Of reducing population growth, that's this big benefit. The key thing you can do to reduce population growth is actually improve health.
In the developed countries, the big winners are countries that have shrinking populations.
I would like to reduce the number of people on the planet because there's too many of us.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population,
Wait. What the?
More of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that. We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
What the?
So in the next 5 to 10 years, for the next pandemic, we'll solve all those problems.
You say the next pandemic, there will be another pandemic.
Absolutely. We don't know when.
History teaches us that the next pandemic is a matter of when, not if.
We know what's next. We're going to have another major coronavirus pandemic before the end of this decade, before 2030.
If we really want to prevent the next pandemic, and there will be one, there will absolutely be an outbreak of another pandemic. It may be next year.
We need more money to plan for the second pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic.
Gangbanging is a lot of witchcraft. Like the hand signals, they have what's called knowledge, and they would write down codes to the gang and like pretty much what you had to live by. Everything was in like ebonics to like how you communicate. It's just witchcraft, bro. And now that I think about it, all of the ones that were in my game specifically, like, folk means for our Lord King Satan. Folks. Folks. I was in a whole gang worshiping the devil pretty much, and they would throw up pitchforks. Like they would be like, it's demonic, bro.
They even wear the beads.
They wore the beads, and the beads had to get blessed.
How do you get the beads blessed?
So, like, the beads had to get blessed by one of the, like, higher-ups. Whether it be the OG, triple OG, double OG. So the women would be all beaded up, and they'll be doing protection on you. When you go out and you selling weight, they would bless you, make sure that you were good and that you're not going to go to jail.
Bro, this is crazy. When I was in the Santeria and Voodoo, bro, like, I had to get my beads blessed. I had to go to the shop, the Santero.
Yep.
I remember it was a witch, bro. It was a bruja. She would take the beads and put it in the Florida water, take the cigar smoke, like an old lady smoking a cigar, and bless the beads for me to go out and be blessed. And I had to keep like getting a renewal of the blessing. Yeah, I never put this. This is crazy.
And it's by rank. So like the more beads you had, the more deeper you were in.
It's the same thing with Voodoo and Santeria.
Yeah. To gain rank, you would have to go deeper. So like there'd be times where they'd be like, yo, you gotta go shoot somebody. You gotta go cut somebody. Or you gotta go beat somebody up. So like that's how you would gain rank.
Like in actual Satanism where it's not gangbanging, right? You have to sacrifice somebody. Yeah. It's a Satanism.
Yeah.
If I'm going from point A to point B, I don't need no driver's license. I don't have no king, bro. Nobody can tell me that I cannot freely travel, have the pursuit of happiness. That is what is guaranteed. It's not a privilege. I have not given up my right. I am the I am. I am the creator. I haven't harmed anybody. Eli, let me show you one more thing. So this case right here, this was this year, not too long ago. Look. They gave me one for no valid driver's operator's license. I go to court, and on the same day, the DA dropped it as an order of dismissal. Why? Because I filed my paperwork, bro. I know what I'm doing out here, man. I'm serious, bro. This is how it works. I've had it done here in Oregon as well, my brother, in Tiger. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I do this. And that's what I was trying to explain to Miller is that if you give me these tickets, I just got to come back down here and file motions and they get thrown away.
Have you ever seen that video where it shows local news people all saying like the exact same thing? It's really weird.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are concerned about plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media.
This is fucking scary.
Yeah.
This is the scariest.
Well, that's propaganda. They're trying to bend a narrative in a very specific way for everybody.
God runs the world. Then under that, you got 1,000-year-old families, Medici. Under that, you have the Vatican, Pope. Under that, you have the financial groups that control all your shit. BlackRock, Vanguard. After that, you have Putin. You have Trump. You have all this shit. And after that, you got what all this shit is. Entertainment. Hollywood.
Entertainment. Mind
Take
control.
that, run that back, run it in schools.
You just broke it down.
8 billion people are being controlled by 100 families.
Who are these families?
These are the elite oligarchs that control the planet. They literally run us. They tell us what to do, hear, see, smell, taste, touch, feel, where we can go, where we can't go. They're running us. The governments are put in place to work for the people, but they got it flipped and they got us working for them.
Right.
And telling us what they're going to do to us if we don't listen to them. That's the opposite of what it's supposed to be. The reason why the world it is today, or why we have this boot on our neck, is because of us. We're the problem. They're sharks. A shark smells blood, a shark attacks.
Right.
A shark is going to be a shark. How come we as 8 billion people haven't stopped falling for these divide and conquer tactics and stopped fighting each other over the scraps and realize who the real enemy is? While we're fighting each other, they're just cutting up the pie and laughing at us. Left wing, right wing, all the same bird. There's no such thing as a Democrat or Republican. The only thing that does exist, like I say, is a group of elite oligarchs that torture men, women, and children worldwide. That exists. Democrat, Republican doesn't exist.
The electricity can't go through the digestive tract. So in the digestive tract, to kill the microorganisms, the specific parasites, she's found the effectiveness of the black walnut, what the native Indians used for cleansing many years ago. The black walnut, in its green hull form, kills many of the microorganisms. And in conjunction with another product called wormwood and cloves, typical cloves that you would get at the store, these three in combination have the ability to go in and kill all the pathogens. Now, what's most interesting is the Mexican people have the lowest incidence of cancer anywhere on the planet. And the reason is they kill the ascaris with this particular product here, we all know to be the jalapeno pepper. And those seeds of the jalapeno pepper, only 10 or 15 seeds twice a day, have the ability to kill the ascaris, which she found to be a major cause of why the body loses oxygen at the tumor sites. And to kill that, you use the jalapeno seeds, and then you back that up with a little ozonated olive oil.
They started at 9:11 at night until 9:11 in the morning. You see the pulse going from the east to the west coast. All right, boom, you see that? Those are NexRad stations. Each of those towers are 750 kilowatts, pumping out between 2.7 to 2.9 gigahertz in the microwave range. This is roughly the same frequency as your microwave oven, and it has the same cause and effect relationship. This was 12 hours long that they held this pulse while we slept. And look at all the other anomalies that are happening here on the screen. Look at what's going on in Texas, all right? You see that big blast? Looks like a giant laser, doesn't it? Boom, see that? Then it gets obscured by the towers. Now, they can add the Doppler towers with this. NexRad has like 159. Doppler has 160. Now, you can consider the HARP stations. There's 33 of those, but they don't show up on this satellite. This covers the microwave range. This is a NexRad feed.
You look at who owns CNBC, who owns Fox, who owns CNN. At the top of the shareholder list, you have Vanguard and BlackRock. Then you look at the manufacturers of the jabs. Okay, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna. Who are the top shareholders of those companies, Vanguard and BlackRock. Now you look at the flight companies that banned all flights. No flights unless you're taken care of. Who are the top shareholders? Vanguard, BlackRock. You look at the food. Okay, who are the top shareholders of all this junk food? Vanguard and BlackRock. So the media is controlled, the food is controlled, The narrative is controlled. The transportation is controlled. Who owns Meta? Who owns Snapchat? Who owns, well, used to be, but still kind of does, Twitter? Who owns Google? They're pushing the same narrative the media's pushing. Oh, it's the same company. It's BlackRock. It's Vanguard. Profit-driven company.
For instance, if I was the president of the United States, why wouldn't I want to have some type of push towards women to try to get married younger, to try to have families younger so that I could bring that birth rate up? If you could save the human species by simply changing around policies, wouldn't you try to do that?
Not necessarily.
Like, what would be an example of you not doing that?
So let's say you have a civilization of 5 people, and I don't think it'd be ethical necessarily to force those women to get pregnant if they don't want to by forcing the men to essay those women in order to keep your population going. So I would, across the board, say that that's wrong. Even if it prolongs the human species, I don't think women should be forced to give children.
Even if
it
would only be for a short amount of time.
100%.
Right. So then the human species goes extinct.
Yes.
So I'll concede on the essay one and just say, okay, fine, for the sake of argument, we'll let this one go.
So not for the sake of argument. What would you actually say?
Well, I would say that you have a greater obligation
to essay the women.
If the opposition would mean global extinction, I still think that they would prefer to do so.
And if they didn't, if those 3 women on this island said, I would rather the meteor hit us, or I'd rather we die out than these men essay me.
The question isn't their preferences. The question would be the preferences of everybody in front of that. So you would let the entirety of humanity go extinct?
Yes.
Why?
I'm prioritizing autonomy over prolonging the human race.
I said, David, I'd like to ask you a couple questions. I said, I already know the answers, but I've been gone for 5 years. I'd like to know if certain things are still the way they were when I left. I said, do they still take the master to the temple room? Dave said, yeah. I said, do they still have the coven conjure demons into the master? He said, of course. I said, now, I got to know something. What's the main reason for rock music? He said, the same as when you were in, so that we can play spells on people that we couldn't cast spells upon. The master is a tape about as big as the top of this podium that looks like an overgrown 8-track that the album is cut on and is placed in a machine that produces and presses the records and the 8-tracks and cassettes that you buy. After it's been recorded, it's taken in. This is why a master's cut months in advance before it's released. On the full moon, it's taken in to a temple room about the size of this auditorium that is in every one of the major music companies, behind locked doors up in the executive office. And it's placed on an altar, sitting in the north of the room, and a pentagram engraved in the floor. And 13 hand-chosen witches and wizards and a coven come in and conjure a principality or a power up, usually Regia or something like that, and order him to tell the demons under him to follow every record and every tape coming off of that master.
On our planet, we have more than 3,554 gates that you can travel from one point to another point in a few seconds. All these gates are on ley lines. They are the magnetic field lines from our planet. From these 3,454 gates, there was 12,000 years ago all open. But they have closed them in 3026 before Christ. They have closed all the gates. And why they have closed the gates? It was the last days that the gods were staying on our planet and was going away. And when they was going away, they have closed all these gates. And all these gates today, they are under big temples like we know, like Giza, Angkor Wat, Stonehenge, Avebury, and so on. Under these ancient temples are old accesses to these gates. So the last gates was open on our planet was the gates in Mexico. On different temples in Mexico, we have gates that was nog still open after 3026 BC. But on the moment when the reptilians have taken over our planet, the Violet Masters have closed the last gates what was open.
Mr. Musk discovered what the hell happened to all the money. He discovered that the American taxpayers are giving money to Afghanistan. We are giving money to Yemen. We are giving money to Syria. The USAID has 10,000 people, and every year they give away $40 billion. He found that the USAID gave money to support electric vehicles in Vietnam. They found that USAID spent $164 million to support radical organizations around the world. They gave $122 million of that to groups aligned with foreign terrorist organizations. He found that we gave $2 million, USAID did, for sex changes in Guatemala. He found that we gave $20 million to produce a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. Gave $10 million of meals to an al-Qaeda-linked terror group called the Nusra Front. He gave $7.9 million of taxpayer money to teach Sri Lanka, a bunch of journalists in Sri Lanka, to teach them how to avoid binary gendered language. I don't know what the hell binary gendered language is.